Technical proficiency requires diligent practice, of course, but also the right tools. Today, I'm going to make the case why the Klose exercises are the best to get the job done, show you applications for practice, and give you the complete re-engraved edition, the Saxophone Academy edition of the Klose studies, for free. So go download in the link below. I'll meet you right back here. Full disclosure, I generally hate classical etudes. A lot of times they're unidiomatic, technical nightmares that are meant to be just incredibly hard for the sake of being hard. Klose is different. Charlie Parker loved and practiced these. I love these as well. They're incredibly satisfying. So today we're going to show you how to practice them. We're going to dive right into exercise number 1, and including future ear training and jazz training. We're going to take some of these phrases around the circle of fourths with jazz articulation. It'll be incredibly important for improvisation studies going forward. And this will be part of a new monthly series where we take this free etude book I'm giving you and work out of it each month. But before we dive in, let's go ahead and listen to exercise number 1. And you'll notice right off the bat, these are not fiendishly challenging. They are idiomatic. They fall well under the fingers. The patterns and shapes feel good under the fingers and will also have many future applications. The other thing that I love about these are unapologetically exercises, not concert etudes. We don't have to pretend we're performing these for an audience. They don't have these kind of pseudo-romantic melodies where we have to try to sneak a breath in 16th notes and shape and phrase. No, these are unapologetically technical studies so that we can really focus on what we're trying to get out of these with homogeny of tone, good technique, rhythm. We'll talk about all these things. But at the base of these are technical studies with a lot of potential application that we're going to be covering. Unlike the Fairling etudes, which I kind of generally hate, these are much quicker to learn and many more applications. So the older students who have suffered with me, you can breathe a sigh of relief. Now let me know in the comments which etudes made you want to pack up your horn and bring it to the pawn shop. Let me know in the comments below what were the worst etudes you ever played. Now these are not teasers or a taste of a course I'm going to be selling later. The entire book of etudes are free, and we're going to be going over these each month. This past summer, I've largely been absent for YouTube, and I sincerely apologize. My wife just opened a new clinic. I've been home with the kiddos, and as many of you parents know, life has seasons, and this has been a rather challenging one for me, to be honest. But I'm back to giving weekly lessons because I want more people playing the saxophone, and I want you playing the saxophone better. I've missed you. So, with that in mind, if you feel so obliged to give me a like and subscribe, I would appreciate it. We've got a lot of work to do. So, I've already talked about the importance of these etudes. Charlie Parker loved them. You're going to love them as well. Let's talk about one of the most useful applications of studying the Klose exercises. A constant, steady stream of subdivision. It's one of the reasons I love this. The eighth note subdivision, whether at a double time or single time, normal time feel, is critically important. It's the heartbeat of jazz. That do-ba-do-ba-do-ba-do-ba-do-ba-do-ba-do-ba-do-ba is truly important. Matter of fact, let's take a look at a Hank Mobley solo I'm studying with my students this month, and what do we see? A huge stream of eighth notes. But here's something you may not realize, and something I've come to realize in listening to many players and giving feedback to players, is that a lot of times when the rhythm is not a constancy of eighth notes, what makes it swing or feel kind of mushy or floaty is feeling the subdivision underneath. So let's take a look at this rhythm right here, and we have a rhythm that is not entirely eighth notes. So we have do-dat, ba-do, 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 be, do, dat. So a kind of common jazz figure. But what's going to make it swing and feel tight is how we address those rests and the quarter note tied to the eighth note. So even though we have these rests and these long notes, do, bap, ba-do, 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 dwee, do, dat, we have to be feeling underneath do, ba-do, 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 we do, ba-do, ba-do, bap. The do ba do ba do ba do ba do ba do has to be ingrained and felt consistently pulsing underneath that constant swing heartbeat. How does that happen? We practice it with Klose. Now, another great benefit of these exercises is they won't take an entire month just to get the notes under your fingers like some other etude books, which means we have a lot more time and headspace for application. So if you're already playing Charlie Parker solos in 12 keys, kudos, go get a cookie. For the rest of us, I'm going to be giving us small monthly assignments. I'm going to be doing these with you, starting easy. I'm going to pick 2 or 4 measures, a small part of a phrase that we're going to use as ear training, building our oral to kinesthetic connection, being able to hear something, intuit something in our mind, and be able to play it. That's going to happen through transposition. So I'm going to give us small assignments starting this week with just the first 2 measures of this exercise. We're going to play it, then we're going to add jazz articulation. Now, right now, I am going to have a little bit of a cheat to show you the jazz articulation that I'm using, but see if you can guess it. So first, I'm going to play it with just what's actually written, but using jazz articulation. Then I'll show you the cheat sheet of what I'm actually doing. So in future months, I may not write it out explicitly, but expect you to use your ears and do the best you can. And if you ever have any questions or need some help, hit it up in the comments below. There's tons of very experienced. Well, and it's expensive when you think you add up the cost of the instrument and driving to the gigs that don't really pay. Okay, point being, there's a lot of experience, that's the word I was looking for. Players down in the comment, including myself, are happy to help you out. But right now, we're just going to take those 2 measures, get it with the jazz articulation, and these are great to put on a loop. So often these fit so nicely where we have a nice little leading tone turn around to where we begin. And you'll see that month after month. So we're going to take that, learn it slowly. Then we're going to move it around the circle of fourths. Why not the circle of fifths? I don't have time to explain. Just bear with me. So we're going to move around the circle of fourths, adding a flat each time until we get to sharps, then we take away sharps, which is kind of like adding a flat. And we're going to do it rubato and slowly. This is the time where I say it's a-okay to turn off the metronome one of the few times. And we're going to slowly learn to play this around the 12 keys. They're simple enough and easy enough to remember that it really will help you build that ear-to-finger connection without doing mental math in your head of the intervals and the scale degrees, which isn't really an oral to kinesthetic training. It's more of mental math, which is what we're trying to avoid here. So this is how I might practice it, starting in C very slowly, then moving around the circle of fourths. So I would go to F, then B flat, then E flat, and then I might go back to C and kind of build back from where I began, doing a little bit of cumulative work. So see how I might practice this. So those few measures are your assignment for this month. Take it, learn the jazz articulation, put it on a nice loop, and start to move it slowly and easily around the circle of fourths. And each month we'll be having new assignments until we get through all of the exercises together. I've really missed you, and I'm looking forward to getting back to weekly lessons. So if you have any questions, make sure you hit me up in the comments below. Until then, I'll see you next week. I promise. Go practice.